Hello, welcome to Creativerse. In this class, we are still going to be looking at the terrain modifier. In the last class, we said that the terrain modifier is a compound object used to combine multiple spline shapes into a single continuous terrain surface. So here we're going to be more precise in our modeling. So we're going to be using this image here. Okay, we're going to be using this image to form a terrain. So let's dive straight into it. So let's go into our 3ds Max. So first and first, because of how precise we want to be, most of the times we're going to measurement like this, it's in meters. So we're going to make sure that our unit setup is in meters. So come into our 3ds Max, go to our customize unit setup, make sure here is in meters. Okay, I'm going to OK that. So the next thing we're going to do is to draw our plane. So to make sure we're precise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to this. I will right click to be sure of the exact dimension of this image. Details. So it is 800 by 851. Okay, so what I will do is I'll come back to my 3ds Max. I will draw the plane like so. Length and width, you can see it's in meters. So I'm going to put in 800, and let's just say 900 by 900. Okay, so you can see how big it is now. So what I will do next is hit my W. Okay, let me repeat that again. So it's going to be 900 by 900. Alright, so here I'm back. So I'm going to hit G to remove or hide my grid. So I'm having something as big as this. Okay, so in some softwares you can just drag and drop your map like this, drag in and dump it there. So this can work for some people, but at times it might not work. So the best thing is to make sure your render setup is in scanline. Because I'm using scanline, you can use your own node if you want to. So we're going to import the material instead. So we're going to a standard material. Okay, and from there we're going to hit a diffuse. So we'll click this, hit the maps, and then go down to general, hit bitmap, okay. From there we're going to bring in the exact material we used earlier. Sorry, I meant image. So I'm supposed to be using this. Okay, there's it here. Right, so we uploaded this here. So I'm going to click this, and from there I'm going to click here. So whichever way we uploaded it in our scene. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'll come in here. Okay, and sometimes you might need to turn this on. Okay, if it's off, you might apply material and it won't be showing. So be sure to check that. So now we're going to start drawing our splines. So I'll go into my should I say my top? Okay, I may not need to go there. Okay, just come here and double click on the top. Okay, so with this now I'm going to use my splines to draw this. So we might not be too exact, but I believe you should get the idea. So let's dive straight into it. So I'm going to click here. Okay. So I won't be so exact, but hope you get the idea. So to undo, maybe you've clicked somewhere wrong. So hold your control and then backspace. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm going to drag this here like this. Close splines. So we're good with this. Next thing we'll move to the next. So we'll click again. Okay, and I think I have to be playful here. As I said, we won't be that exact. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, and move on. So the good thing is that you can always come back to refine if you want to refine this. So it's up to you. Okay, we'll move on here too. And then finally we have this here. Okay, so the thing here is that you can always come back. You can so for this I'm going to click all and go to my shapes so that I can select only splines. So I can click this, go in here and play around my vertex if I want. Okay, I can pull this in, maybe bend this a bit. So that's how we. So I can move this, then bend it to fit, bend this to fit. Can do this to here. Maybe right click and go to Bezier and here. And click this. So you can keep doing that until you have something of choice. So I believe you get the idea. So I think this gives me something I can work with roughly. So go into my lines and the next important thing we're going to be doing is to follow up with these measurements. Here we have 100, so this should be 100 meters from the ground. So what I will do here is I'm going to duplicate just this. Okay, you will understand later. This last one here, so I'm going to hit Control D. It's going to be a copy. So that means there are two here now. So I'm going to increase this upward, or take this upward. I'm going to put in the value here, 100. Hit Enter. The next, which is this, is 200. So okay, the next, which is this, is 300. The next, which is this, is 400. And finally we have this, which is 500. So if you observe, I'm following all of this here. So we have this now. Now the reason why I duplicated this is because if we start from here, it's going to run the terrain upward to this point. So I would love this to run to the floor. So I'm going to assume that this is on the base, then maybe just scale it up to wherever I want, something like this. Okay, so at this point what I'll do next is I'll hit this, maybe come here and go to all and delete this as I don't need it now. So click this here and I'm off to my okay, I'm off to my compound object and I'm looking for the terrain. You can see. So pick operands, click here, click here, click here, click here, and click finally here. Okay, I hope you get the idea. Hit my W. Next is I'm going to apply the turbo smooth. Okay, then I can increase iterations if I like. Then the next thing I might want to do is okay, let me isolate this, click this and isolate. Okay, so now I'm having this surface. If I like, I can go in here and play around with settings terrain. We have the graded solid, which covers up the base here. If that's what you want. We may need to correct this later on. We have the layered solid, which gives us this. Okay, then and other settings that you can play around with. Okay, simplification, you can go in and maybe check out some of this if it gives you what you want. And the color by elevation. Okay, so basically that is that. Alright, so that is that. You can, if I decide to render this, let's see what will happen. Render. Okay, so this is what I have. So basically this is how we take off a data that already exists and bring it to 3ds Max and use precise measurements as we did for the meters and the length to come up with something that looks like a terrain. So you can let me use graded surface. So another thing you could do is that you can go in here and maybe apply your, if you want, you can apply probably your displaced mesh. Okay, you can come here and apply your, let's say we apply our displace. Okay, then of course if you hit the M, we have this here. So I want to apply, and I want to apply the same objects. Desktop, going to my 3ds Max, I'm going to apply this here. Okay, then probably what I will do is I'm going to apply the material. So M, my M, I'm going to apply this material here. Okay, then what I will do next is probably you might want to play around with your displace mesh or something. Okay, probably in the next class I'm going to teach you how to use the displace mesh and your displace mesh world space modifier. Okay, we have two here: displace mesh world space modifier and your displace. Okay. Alright, but what you can do, you could still increase the strength, and you can see what's happened to the surface. We can increase this to maybe 100. You can see, okay, giving us more like this mountain, feeling and stuff like that. You could, let's say, bump this up to like 250, and you have this. Okay, so basically this is how we use our terrain. Okay, so here we use the terrain compound object, we use the turbo smooth to smooth it out, we use the displace. And how do we use the displace? Don't forget we applied this map first of all on the surface, and then we went into our displace and added the map here, and then we increased the strength and we came out with this surface, terrain surface. Okay, so thank you for staying through in this class. See you in the next class. Bye.